There are friendships in Hollywood that everyone assumes are unbreakable until a single choice changes everything. Russell Crowe knows what it means to lose trust in someone once considered a close friend. The story of his bond with Tom Cruise is one of admiration, betrayal, and the weight of decisions that echo for decades. From introductions through mutual friends to working together on the big screen for the first time, the journey was far from simple. What happened behind the cameras would leave scars that neither fame nor fortune could erase. The beginning of a Hollywood connection. Russell Crowe first met Tom Cruise in 1992 at a barbecue hosted by Naomi Watts in Sydney, an encounter that might have seemed ordinary at the time, but would later be remembered as the origin of a complicated friendship. Nicole Kidman, married to Cruise at the time, introduced the two men, bridging the gap between Australia and Hollywood. Crowe, already familiar with Kidman, was intrigued by Cruise's reputation as one of the biggest movie stars in the world, and the initial meeting left a memorable impression. Crowe recalled that Cruise, despite his celebrity, asked questions about his films, demonstrating a curiosity and humility that made a strong early impression. Over the years, the two would remain on friendly terms, often speaking or meeting when circumstances allowed, but their paths never crossed professionally. By the late 1990s, Cruise had solidified his position as one of Hollywood's top leading men, with blockbuster roles in Mission, Impossible, Top Gun, and Jerry Maguire, while Crowe was ascending through intense performances in films like Gladiator and A Beautiful Mind. Despite their separate careers, mutual admiration remained, yet the shadow of personal entanglements would soon complicate the friendship. Cruise and Kidman's relationship drew intense media attention, and as their marriage progressed, Crowe remained a close friend to Kidman, attending social gatherings and maintaining a supportive role. The closeness Crowe had with Kidman would later influence the dynamic between him and Cruise, planting the seeds for a rift that would only fully reveal itself years later during the Mummy production. During this period, Cruise's personal life became a magnet for public scrutiny. His marriages and divorces, particularly the sudden split from Nicole Kidman in 2001, left a trail of shockwaves across Hollywood. Crowe's loyalty to his friend Kidman complicated his ability to maintain neutrality. While he had known Cruise personally for nearly a decade, the divorce placed him in a position where personal ethics and long-standing friendship collided, creating tension that would eventually define their professional interaction. The fallout: Nicole Kidman, divorce, and tension. The year 2001 marked a turning point, not only in Tom Cruise's personal life, but also in the fragile balance of his friendships. After a decade-long marriage, Cruise filed for divorce from Nicole Kidman, blindsiding both the public and those closest to the couple. For Crowe, who had been a longtime friend and confidant to Kidman, the news carried more than gossip. It was a personal blow. The actor had maintained a supportive friendship with Kidman for years, and seeing her shocked and devastated by the sudden split created an ethical and emotional dilemma. Crowe, known for his loyalty, immediately gravitated toward Kidman, offering both personal support and professional guidance as she navigated one of the most turbulent periods of her life. The divorce was widely covered by media, amplifying every detail and placing Kidman and Cruise under a magnifying glass. Crowe's protective stance toward Kidman did not go unnoticed, and it effectively froze the relationship he had once shared with Cruise. Sources close to both actors revealed that Crowe felt he could not maintain friendship with Cruise without betraying Kidman's trust, and so the rift deepened quietly over the next decade. Cruise, meanwhile, moved on with his life, entering a relationship with Penelope Cruz in 2001, followed by his marriage to Katie Holmes in 2006, both of which attracted intense media scrutiny. His personal decisions, especially regarding the abrupt divorce, became a persistent topic of discussion among industry insiders, and Crowe's inability to reconcile personal loyalty with professional camaraderie kept the tension alive. This tension extended beyond personal boundaries and eventually influenced the professional realm. Crowe, who had once admired Cruise's dedication and work ethic, began to see the man behind the celebrity through a lens shaded by betrayal. Their early friendship, once characterized by mutual curiosity and respect, gave way to a complicated silence. Crowe's perspective on loyalty and ethics in Hollywood, deeply tied to his own principles, made it impossible to ignore Cruise's actions. By the time The Mummy was in development, the undercurrent of tension had accumulated over 16 years, creating an atmosphere where two globally celebrated actors were forced to navigate a professional collaboration shadowed by unresolved personal conflicts. The Mummy, first collaboration, and behind the scenes. When The Mummy finally brought Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe together on set in 2017, it was the culmination of over 2 decades of acquaintanceship, tension, and careful timing. Crowe had long described waiting for the right project to work alongside Cruise, and the film provided that opportunity. Cruise, portraying Nick Morton, and Crowe as Dr. Jekyll Hyde, were expected to deliver a blockbuster performance within a franchise designed to launch Universal's Dark Universe. Yet behind the cameras, the history between them made the experience far more complicated than a typical production. The shooting demanded intense physicality, as both actors insisted on performing their own stunts. Crowe later admitted that the fight sequences were the most memorable moments on set, laughing about the grueling days spent in combat choreography with Cruise. The collaboration, however, was shadowed by a professional friction rooted in personal history. Cruise, known for his perfectionism and hands-on control over creative aspects, exercised significant oversight over production decisions, script approvals, and even post-production strategies. While Crowe respected Cruise's commitment, the dual weight of demanding stunts and an underlying emotional tension made the filming process uniquely challenging. Co-stars, including Sophia Boutella, Annabelle Wallis, and Jake Johnson, observed the delicate dynamic. Johnson, initially hesitant about performing stunts, found solace in Cruise's guidance and training regimen, but the environment remained intense. Crowe, meanwhile, navigated the intersection of professionalism and personal loyalty to Kidman, whose prior connection to Cruise still shaped his perception. The actors interacted with care, yet every scene carried an unspoken awareness of unresolved history. Even public appearances, such as the Sydney premiere, highlighted their cautious camaraderie, with moments of humor and mutual respect tempered by underlying discomfort. Despite these challenges, both actors committed fully to the project. Cruise expressed excitement to finally share a screen with Crowe, remarking that it felt surreal given their long-standing acquaintance. Crowe reciprocated, acknowledging the opportunity to explore a complex character in Dr. Jekyll, while contending with the pressures of collaborating with someone whose personal choices had previously caused him emotional conflict. Their professional interaction was a careful balance of skill, discipline, and restraint, illustrating the difficult fusion of celebrity, friendship, and the shadows of past betrayals. Box office, critical reception, and cult streaming popularity. The Mummy opened in June 2017 with high expectations, aiming to kickstart Universal's ambitious Dark Universe franchise. Starring Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe, the film combined action, horror, and supernatural elements, yet the reception was far from what the studio had hoped. Critics were overwhelmingly negative, awarding it a mere 15% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, while audience scores fared only slightly better at 35%. Many reviews cited a rushed narrative, especially the abrupt introduction of Crowe's Jekyll/Hyde character, and criticized the script for prioritizing franchise potential over coherent storytelling. Despite these criticisms, the movie managed to gross $409 million globally against a $125 million budget, demonstrating Cruise's star power and the enduring appeal of high-octane action. While the box office was respectable, It was clear that the franchise potential had been compromised. Plans for sequels and character-centric spin-offs were delayed, and Universal reevaluated the Dark Universe strategy. Nevertheless, the story of Cruise and Crowe performing their own stunts, the intense fight choreography, and their visible chemistry on screen became a talking point among fans. Co-star Jake Johnson openly discussed his initial apprehension about stunts and how Cruise personally guided him through months of rigorous training, highlighting Cruise's relentless professionalism. Crowe, too, committed fully to his physically demanding role, bringing the duality of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde to life, even amidst personal tension. Interestingly, despite its critical panning, The Mummy found new life in the digital streaming era. 8 years after release, it emerged as a global sleeper hit on platforms such as Netflix and Prime Video, drawing audiences from countries including Thailand, Singapore, and the Dominican Republic. Discussions on social media and fan forums praised Cruise's energy and Crowe's performance, especially during the fight sequences. Many viewers expressed frustration at the rushed plot, particularly the handling of Jekyll/Hyde. Yet the film's action and spectacle created a dedicated following. Analysts have noted that while it underperformed in traditional critical metrics, its streaming success proves the enduring draw of Cruise's star power and Crowe's intensity, allowing the movie to achieve a second life far beyond the theaters. The streaming popularity also sparked conversations about what could have been for the Dark Universe. Fans speculated on standalone films for Crowe's character, future adventures for Cruise's mummy, and potential expansions featuring other classic monsters. For Crowe and Cruise, this digital resurrection demonstrated the paradox of Hollywood. A professional collaboration marked by tension and personal history could simultaneously struggle critically, yet thrive commercially in new formats. It underscored how audience engagement often transcends the narratives constructed by critics, elevating the actor's commitment and star appeal above initial failure. Russell Crowe breaks silence, loyalty, ethics, and the grudge. Years after The Mummy, Russell Crowe finally addressed the strained relationship with Tom Cruise, offering insight into the personal and ethical motivations that shaped their dynamic. In interviews and public statements, Crowe revealed that his loyalty to Nicole Kidman, a friend for over 3 decades, had made it impossible to maintain the same camaraderie with Cruise following the sudden divorce in 2001. He described the emotional weight of witnessing Kidman's distress and how it conflicted with the obligations of a long-standing friendship with Cruise. According to sources close to both actors, Crowe never forgave Cruise for blindsiding Kidman, a betrayal that transcended Hollywood gossip and entered the realm of personal principle. Crowe clarified that his initial curiosity about Scientology, sparked by Cruise, had been a neutral exploration. He spent time understanding Cruise's involvement without any pressure or expectation, confirming that the religion did not influence the deterioration of their friendship. Crowe's narrative emphasized that his grudge was rooted solely in loyalty and ethical considerations rather than professional rivalry or religious differences. The decision to distance himself was described as necessary. To continue interacting with Cruise without addressing the hurt would have felt like a betrayal of Kidman. In interviews, Crowe stated plainly that siding with a close friend in moments of personal trauma was unavoidable and that it shaped his approach to professional collaborations thereafter. Despite their past, Crowe and Cruise maintained a professional veneer during the Mummy production, yet the tension was palpable. Crowe admitted that the fight sequences and intense stunts allowed for a controlled outlet of competitive energy, creating a professional channel to navigate residual resentment. Cruise himself praised Crowe's skill and dedication, but industry observers noted a subtle distance in their interactions, particularly in decision-making and script discussions. Both actors had to negotiate the duality of professionalism and personal history, and Crowe later reflected that this balancing act was as emotionally taxing as it was physically demanding. Public perception and what the future holds. Even years after The Mummy, the relationship between Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe continues to intrigue Hollywood insiders and fans alike. The professional and personal history they share is a reminder that fame does not shield one from emotional complexity or moral dilemmas. Cruise, now focusing on projects like Deeper, The Top Gun, Maverick sequel, and Doug Liman's outer space production, maintains his reputation as one of Hollywood's most committed action stars, performing his own stunts and immersing himself fully in every role. Crowe, meanwhile, continues to command respect for his intense performances and ethical approach to both his friendships and career choices, ensuring that loyalty and integrity remain central to his public persona. Public perception of their dynamic is heavily shaped by the context of Cruise's divorce from Nicole Kidman and Crowe's unwavering loyalty to her. While both actors have publicly downplayed any ongoing feud, industry insiders note that Crowe's protective stance and ethical considerations effectively froze the friendship with Cruise, a decision rooted in principle rather than personal animosity. Audiences often see the on-screen chemistry or tension, especially in The Mummy, but few fully grasp the decades-long personal history and the delicate negotiation of trust, loyalty, and professionalism that underpins it. Crowe's willingness to speak openly about this history offers a rare glimpse into the emotional calculus behind Hollywood relationships, where personal ethics can outweigh career convenience. The legacy of their collaboration, therefore, is bittersweet. The Mummy succeeded in bringing two titans of film together, yet the public sees only the surface of what was achieved. Behind the action sequences, stunts, and box office numbers lies a story of moral complexity, long-standing loyalties, and choices that echo far beyond the screen. Crowe's reflections serve as a case study in how personal values intersect with professional demands, demonstrating that even the brightest stars cannot separate life from the consequences of their actions. What do you think about Russell Crowe's decision to prioritize loyalty over friendship with Tom Cruise? Do you believe personal ethics should always come before professional relationships? Comment below with your thoughts, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories behind Hollywood's biggest stars.